Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the Law of Attraction podcast. My name is Laura. If you don't know me already, I am your resident life coach, and I practice in Bristol. And here I help people to change their mindsets dealing with depression, lack of self-confidence, general life issues, and kind of executing themselves out of depression and the things that ail them. Now, I wanted to talk to you today a little bit about relationships. Now, I had a friend of mine contact me yesterday because she had unfortunately found some messages that her partner had been sending to another woman, and she wasn't really sure what to do about it, or how she could help herself. And this is a bit of a tough one, because the issue is once your trust has gone for your partner, that's a very difficult thing to get back. Now, even if he hasn't actually done anything, which looking at the messages, it seems like he hasn't really done anything. It seems like he was just flirting with somebody on a night out, and the question is, does that constitute cheating? That's up to you to decide. That's your relationship to talk about. But I think the main issue here is the fact that he has said that he's done nothing, but she doesn't believe him. And the issue there is the fact that she doesn't trust him, and the trust has been broken. Now, is it possible to actually get trust back within a relationship? Well, yes, it is. After it's been broken, it is possible to get back, but it takes a lot of hard work and an awful lot of communication. Now, something that I've noticed these days with young couples is that they spend most of their time communicating on WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger or some form of text messaging. And the problem with this is actually you're not talking, you are not communicating together. It feels like you are because you're in constant communication, but you're not actually having a conversation with that person. You are reading text messages and you are creating whatever intonation you would like for the messages that they are sending. And this is what leads to so many complications in people's relationships, because they don't actually know what the person is saying. They think they know what the person is saying. And this leads us all to being misled and misread. And so, you need to sit down. Communication is king, guys. If you don't communicate with your partner and you go and talk to your friend or your mother or your father or, whomever, your counsellor, your shrink, your life coach, more than you are talking to your partner, your relationship is not going to work. Full stop. Okay? The person that you need to be communicating with most at all times is your partner. At all times. If you've got a problem with your partner, don't tell me, tell your partner. Sure, go to your friends and your parents and whomever for advice. That can be really helpful, but you need to be communicating with your partner at all times about everything, about if you are unhappy, if you're lonely, if you want to see more of them, whatever the thing is, you need to be talking to them, not talking to me. And and this is a situation which people don't tend to do very often. They feel worried to talk to their partners because they think, what if they leave me? What if they don't like what I've got to say? It's like, well, if you can't have an honest conversation with your partner about things, whatever that thing may be, are you in the correct relationship? You need to be able to have conversations, have these deep, dark conversations with your partner, and feel confident enough that you can have that conversation with them. And if you feel like if you tell the truth and if you're honest about the way that you're feeling, then your partner is going to leave you. That makes me sigh a heavy sigh, because I think, have you really got a very good relationship at all in the beginning? And you need to be thinking about that. Now, the problem that people stay in unhappy relationships for a long time is because they feel worried and they don't want to live on their own and they don't want to be lonely and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, I can tell you this much for free, that being lonely is a damn sight better than being unhappy and in a relationship that doesn't fulfill you. Like 1,000%, okay? And we need to have these honest conversations with our partners, because if we don't, you are stuck in a relationship that's pointless. You know, and I know that sounds a little bit harsh, and a lot of people say, oh, but, you know, we have our good times, we have this, we have the other. If you can't learn to communicate fully with your partner about everything that you need to talk about, and I mean fully, telling them warts or, you know, painful discussions, then you are not in the right relationship. You need to be in the relationship that, you know, actually can offer you all of these things. And you need to be able to be honest. And if you're not honest with your partner, you know, what have you got really? You know, and this young lady, you know, she's frightened to say how she feels in case he leaves her, and it's just, you know, it's a very sad situation. Because if he does leave her because of that, you know, the relationship's rubbish anyway. So we need to, you know, think about the relationships that you've got, and think about what you're doing with your life, and think about what actually think about how you communicate with your partner. And if you do come across betrayals, you know, where your partner has spoken to somebody and not necessarily cheated, you know, I think you have to weigh it up. You know, what were they talking about? And if it was sexual conversation, then maybe that's a concern. If they're sending dick pics and things, then yeah, that's cheating. That constitutes as cheating to my mind. But if somebody's flirting with somebody, you know, look, we all have our little moments where we have indiscretions, where we talk to people online, it gets a bit flirty, it's just a bit of fun, it's making you feel good in that moment, and then it's done with. You know, and you don't progress further with it, and it's not something that, you know, we think about a lot, and you don't do it often. Often it happens on a night out when you're doing, you know, when you're just feeling tipsy and you're doing something silly. It's the same thing as if you went into a bar, somebody chatted you up and you talked back to them, and you flirted and nothing happened, and you came home on your own, back to your partner. You know, to my mind, I think that's pretty normal, pretty natural, and pretty healthy. I don't think it's a situation that is going to leave you feeling kind of as if you've been cheated on, and I'm quite sure that all of us in some way, shape or form have flirted with somebody else. You know, it's a way of communicating with people, and it's a way of kind of rapport building and making yourself feel good. You know, and I suppose the question is why don't you feel good on your own? And why doesn't your partner feel that way? Now, you know, if you've been with your partner for a couple of years, you're not going to feel that way. You know, you're not going to flirt in the same way as what you would do, you know, with somebody that you just met, because it's the chase. You know, it's that kind of it's the instant gratification thing, isn't it? But I mean, it can lead to paths of hell, so be wary with that one. But you know, I think that you need to sit down and have a really good conversation with your partner about what you expect within your relationship and what you find is suitable and acceptable. You know, some people don't mind people flirting. Some people are happy with having, you know, people having sexual relationships with other people as long as they come home to them and they're honest about it. It depends on you and what you find is acceptable in your relationship. And all of that comes from having open and honest communication. And the second that shuts down is the second that you pull away from your partner and you actually create a barrier between you and your partner, which causes you, you know, to be incapable of having the conversations that you need to have to sort out these kinds of problems. And that really is a shame. So, you know, think about what you're saying, how you're saying it, what you're doing, and ensure that you're having those important conversations with your partner about everything that you're feeling. You know, if you're feeling down, if you're feeling lonely, if you don't feel confident and it's making you want to flirt with other people, you know, talk to your partner, because they'll actually probably reassure you actually how fabulous and wonderful you are, and they'll make more effort to make sure that you feel loved and that you feel sexy. But if you don't have that conversation with them, they definitely don't know, which leads you down a pathway of possibly cheating, because there will be somebody that fills you up, excuse the pun, with that joy and that love that you're looking for from your partner. But if they just think everything's fine and dandy, they're not going to make the action to do that. So, you know, make the effort and, you know, withstand that uncomfortability of just being honest. and actually it's never as bad as what your brain builds up. Your inner caveman is telling you that if you're honest, if you tell the truth, they're going to get unhappy, they're going to kick you out of the clan, and that's not true. That isn't going to happen. Most people want to hear from you what the truth is, and actually when you don't, you pick up that your partner's withholding something. Human beings are very astute. They get that feeling. Even men, I know people say men don't recognize things, or whatever, and we've got these stereotypes, but men will feel when you pull back from them, and when you pull back from them, they pull back from you, because they get that feeling that they're going to get kicked out the clan, as it were, and they don't want to experience this feeling of being left out either. And so it's a double-edged sword where you all feel very unhappy, and where one pulls back, the other one pulls back, and the situation gets worse. And it could have all been avoided if you had just had a conversation, if you had just spoken about how you're feeling and what you're feeling. Imagine how simple life would be if you all just talked about what you want and how you feel about things. It's a shame. It's a real shame. I've seen some really good relationships go down the pan just because people don't want to talk about their feelings, and if you can come and talk to me, people pay me for them to come and talk about their feelings and to get advice. If you can pay me, an absolute stranger, and you can come and talk to me, and I know that's easier than talking to your partner, because I don't know you and I haven't got these kind of judgments, and that's what I'm there for. But if you can pay and you can come and talk to an absolute stranger about your issues, I promise you can come and talk to your partner about your issues. And if you can't talk to your partner about your issues, then are you really in the right relationship? And I know that's tough. I know that's a tough question, and I know that we back off of it because we feel that as human beings we need to be part of the clan, we need to be part of the tribe, and we find it very difficult to branch out on our own. But I can tell you now that branching out on your own from a relationship that isn't going to work and is going to cause you more pain in the long run is a lot less painful than being in an unhappy relationship for 15 years or 5 years and wasting your life, it breaking up anyway, and then you looking back thinking like, God, all the time that I wasted with that person. If only I had the confidence, and you know when something's wrong. You know when something's wrong. You're not stupid. You have that feeling in the bottom of your stomach that says this thing isn't right. So you know from day one that it's not right. You don't need a partner to survive. You need to love yourself first, and you need to have a relationship that's loving and joyful. Okay, and you can do that. So find the strength, find the gumption, go and do that. Have those uncomfortable talks, and if people don't have uncomfortable talks with you, they're not real people in your life. They don't have your well-being at the bottom of their heart, and they don't have their own well-being at the bottom of their heart. And it's, maybe sometimes you outgrow your partner. It's very common that people outgrow each other, and if that's the case, then yeah, it's sad, but it's better off that you leave a relationship that's not going to fulfill you than to hold on to dragging a dead donkey behind you and flogging it mercilessly, hoping that it's going to come back to life again. It's not, and this idea that they're my true love and I'm committed to them and we're going to do Romeo and Juliet thing, it's bollocks. It's bollocks, and you know it, I know it. You're kidding yourself because you don't want to do something that is temporarily difficult and painful. But the pain of a breakup is transient. It's short-lived as well. If you broke up with somebody and then you find somebody else immediately, you're not bothered. You're genuinely not bothered. You suddenly get back into the groove again and you're happy, because that space is filled. So yeah, have a think about things. Make sure that you are doing the things that you want to do. And be happy. Just be happy. Whatever makes you happy, be happy with it. But if a relationship is not making you happy, stop kidding yourself and stop being in it. If you're complaining to your friends about a relationship, then you're not happy in it. If you are happy, then stop complaining. Just be joyful in that moment. Anyway, good luck, guys. Hope you have a nice day. I look forward to speaking to you soon, and have a good one. You don't need a partner to survive. What am I doing? You don't need a partner to survive. I'm just indicating for no reason. You don't need a partner to survive, okay? It's rubbish anyway. Come on. So we need to, as well, you know, if you broke up with somebody and then